Mepro is now in the LPVO game. Welcome back to the Meprolight workshop, and you heard me right. We are now in the LPVO game. For the longest time, Mepro has traditionally had a lot of 1X optics, reflex sights, and just recently we got into pistol optics with the MPOs and the new M22 Pro and the MCO Pro and the True Vision Speed Ring with all the new products, and we're continuing that momentum with an LPVO. Now, we're calling our LPVO as part of a larger family called the Mepro Variable Optics, right? So we're trying to keep our naming system consistent, just like the MPOs, Mepro Pistol Optics, the MCO, Mepro Carbine Optics, and now we have Mepro Variable Optics, right? Which is it's something new for us, because like I said, we traditionally have done a lot of 1X stuff, and now we're extending the range a little bit. Eric, why don't you walk us through it?
So this, again, looking at our line, trying to figure out what we're missing, what we need to add. The pistol optics for 2024 was a huge thing. So adding 6 of those in kind of fulfilled that need. And then when Chip Class, our product manager, started looking at the product deck and what's the future of Meprolight look like, magnified optics are here to stay. So whether it's in an LVPO format or a medium range, which we will probably see, or even a high variable optic range, we needed to create a family that could hit the needs and desires really of the law enforcement area. So the military has very specific and strict features that they're looking for in their product. There is a gap in our LE markets. LE markets need something that are a little bit more cost effective and economical, but yet gives you the feature rich standards of those higher end optics. And that's really what we achieved and what we believe we met with the MVO line. So we're starting here with the MVO 1-8. It is a 28 millimeter objective lens, 34 millimeter tube. The entire family will be first focal plane and mil reticle. So some people will ask, why didn't you do MOA? Why are you only doing mil? Well, the reason is we needed to come out with something that was consistent across the board. And again, this really is aimed at the professional shooter, specifically the law enforcement area, and they are shooting mil reticles and mil radians because that's what the military is shooting. So, man, it is feature rich. Let me kick it to you, see where we want to start, and then we'll come back and just go through it from however you want.
Well, this is high quality, right? Just like the rest of our products. And it features German SCHOTT glass, which if you know anything about that, that is like top tier, crystal clear glass. And tell me more about the reticle, because the reticle is super useful.
Yeah, so the reticle, we're calling it our M1 reticle. The other products you'll find a different style reticle, but the M1 reticle, again, first focal plane, mil reticle. We are looking at 1X. It looks more like a red dot than it does, say, a magnified optic, simply because when we use our illumination, this has dual illumination, red and green, 10 settings for each. You want to give a daylight visible red dot. So if you have it on red, then it looks like you're shooting a red dot at 1X. If it's on green, then the same thing is the case. However, once you start backing it off and you're at 6, 7, 8 power, you need to, if you're going to run an optic like this, it needs to be usable. So you want to be able to have dial your dope, hold a dope, hold your win, and engage targets really out to that 600-700 yard mark. Will some people stretch it out that far? No. Will some people stretch it further? Absolutely. But it being a mil radian based, it gives you a center floating dot for those accurate shots. It gives you 20 mils of drop down if you want to do your holdovers. So really thinking about what an individual could want and need, but nothing more that they're like, holy goodness, this is entirely too busy and now I don't know what's going on.
Exactly. We try to go by the KISS principle, keep it simple. Also, kind of going on that glass quality, it has 92% light transmittance, which is phenomenal.
Yep, so it's the 1-8 is just over 92. Some of the others will be right at 92. They all crest 92 or above. It was very important for a couple of different things. When we talk about a 1-8, we need edge-to-edge clarity. You want something that once you set yourself, you're not losing the detail on the outer fringes, which this does not. The shot glass gives us that. When you are adjusting the glass, either through the diopter adjustment at the rear, you want to make sure that you can dial everything in. This does not feature a zero stop. Most LVPOs do not, simply because it's just not needed. And we were able to cut some weight actually on the intensity reticle illumination knob instead of a parallax. It is fixed parallax at 100. Let's see what else. 100 yard field of view, you're looking at about 115 to 121 feet field of view. Very important with a LVPO and especially a 1:8. So some people ask, why did we do a 1:8? Why did we not do a 1:10? Why did we not do a 1:6? Simply the 1:8 was the best clarity we can get for the size. So when you go to 1:10, an adjuster, an erector that goes 10 power, you're going to give up something on the top end. It's just part of using an erector that goes out the magnification ring out there. So the typical ones are a 5X or a 6X or an 8X. So your 6 to 24s, your 5 to 25s. So it was easier for us to take a look at our options and say, hey, 1:8 really is a sweet spot for the features and benefits versus the clarity of what you get out of it.
Absolutely, and we stand behind our products at Meprolight, and this is covered by the MeproGuard warranty.
Absolutely, lifetime warranty. If you have any questions, if you have any issues, just give us a call. Some of the other features that are built in, these are all push-pull turrets. So our turrets are 10 mil per rotation. So people ask why that? Well, some brands or other scopes will go to a 7.5 or an 8 or 9. Well, if you need to go to 22, now you're doing math real quick. Yeah. Math and I don't get along very well. So if I have a multiple of 10, it's pretty easy. The clicks are super tactile, Absolutely. Which is very important when you're maybe looking at your target and you lift your turret and you say, hey, I need to go 4/10, 1, 2, 3, 4, lock it down. It does lock, so if you are a professional user and you're carrying it on your kit and it drags, it bumps, it is not, you have to pull it up. Everything, the windage is the same way, so push-pull there. Most of the time people are gonna zero their optic and then lock it down. Both turrets are resettable. So once you get your zero and say you happen to be over here and you need to reset your zero, there's 2 set screws. The Allen keys come in the box. Loosen the 2 set screws, let's not take them off. The turrets on our products are actually built into the tube, so they do not come off, so you can't lose them, you can't ding them, you can't break them. And then you'll just line up your index line with the 0 in the back, tighten your 2 set screws down and lock them back into place and they're ready to go. The textured wise, we did do our own texturing. We looked at a bunch. It was important for us to be able to use these with sweaty hands, gloved hands, bloody hands, whatever the case somebody might throw at it. So they are very textured, but yet they're not obtrusive, so they won't catch and scrape on things. We did build in, and we'll get some closer photos for this for you. You do have an extended magnification ring throw lever here. It is built in. It is a very smooth, but not so light. There's enough tension where you have to purposely turn it in the direction you want to go. And then in the box, there will be an extended throw lever with screw as well. So if an individual just happens to want one, the cool thing, how we were able to build it into this optic is that it's keyed. So when you slide it over, it locks into place. You put your screw in from your side, and then you can throw an index line on that screw if you want, and it's good to go. With it installed, you can go all the way to 1X or all the way to 8. Depending on some of the ones I've run in the past are made from 3D print and they kind of go around, and if you don't index it correctly, you might hit your rail or something and it kind of makes it a little funky to work with. There's none of that happens with our scope. So
I'm not a fan of the throw levers you have to like clamp on and screw, and I just never found them to work really well. So having this just works super well.
Everything will be or is environmentally tested. We have done scaling tests from the reticle. The reticles are obviously etched. We've done the reticle tests to ensure scaling is appropriate, usually out to 10 mils because especially on a platform like this, you're not going to use the 10 mils, but it is tested out there, box testing, ladder testing to ensure that the scaling, the tracking, and everything within the scope meets any specification, whether you're a 3-gun shooter, an LE DMR guy, or whatever the case may be. So we feel that we have thought of everything with this. I'm sure they will be tested the max and everything has either a failure point or things that we would like to do better. But as it sits right now, we have run thousands upon thousands of rounds through these, and they've been operating very, very well.
Absolutely, and they pair really well with our MPO's offset. I'm a big fan of that setup as well.
Yep, so obviously running a Reptilia mount here with offset mount and spacer, well, a 90-degree mount and spacer. We've used them with Badgers. They've worked really well. The Reptilia stuff has worked really well for us. So it's not one of these things. Meprolight does not want to get in the accessory market any further than we are. So those previous accessories are built specifically for the MPO line of optics, but there's a lot of great companies making really good mounts across the board. And it's one of those things, if it's not broke, why fix it? We'll focus our time on the clarity and the usability of an optic.
I'm definitely a fan of the 45 offset rather than 12 o'clock, but that's just me.
Yeah, I'm actually playing with it right now. Throughout extensive time in the military, I really have been either a red dot with magnifier person or an ACOG, which I was issued with offset red dots. So LVPOs for me, I'm still trying to figure my way out through it. It's just another thing you've got to continuously train for, and you've got to see what works from you. I have this on here because I really like keeping it around 5, 6 power, and then having this zeroed at say 50. And then I can have all my close-in shots and still have the longer ones. I'm not sold on the 90-degree. I do want to test some more of the 45s. I like the idea of it being tucked in the rail, much closer and out of the way. So just one of the things that, just like everyone out there, I have to continuously tinker and play and see what works and what doesn't work.
And everything has trade-offs. You know, we don't live in a perfect world where you can have your cake and eat it too most of the time. So you have to give and take a little bit.
Yeah, so this is a 150 or 154 height. I've been playing around with the 193 height as well on some of the other ones that we're running. And again, it's one of those things where you're just like, man, do I like it? Do I not like it? Okay, I like a 193 because it's easier to shoot, especially under nods passively with the offset red dot. But now I've got to build my cheek up a little bit because I have more of an offset and I don't want to float it. So all of those things need to be taken into account. But as far as the optic goes, we've had a really good time with it, and the price points you guys will be very, very surprised with. So we look forward to hearing all the feedback you guys have on the MVOs.
So if you want to learn more, if you want to pick one up for yourself, go to meprolight.com and to check it out further, guys. If you enjoyed the video, if you're excited for our new products, give the video a like, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for more great content.